We're back. That's right, I'm Ralph Cianciarulo.
And I'm Vicki Cianciarulo.
And we want to thank you for making last year a success with the Archer's Choice TV show. You know, we had some unbelievable footage from last year, but this past season, I think, tops it.
We got some film of animals that you can't believe. One example, Ralph actually shot a bigger bear than I did in spring bear camp.
Yeah, baby.
It's amazing. Miracles happen.
Yeah, it sure does. And I'm glad the miracle was on my side this time. You know, but the bottom line here is we, as usual, on all of our hunting adventures and experiences, we get to meet some great people.
Yes, we do.
Share some unbelievable experiences, create memories that'll last a lifetime. And that's what this is all about. You know, we are going to show you and share with you some super hunts, some incredible animals. And but
even.
The thing is it's the people, it's the memories, it's the experience, and we want to portray that and carry that through. And we want to thank you once again for making your choice the Archer's Choice. Bowhunting is not just a sport, it's a passion, a drive, a way of life. Practicing throughout the year, playing with different equipment, adjusting and readjusting again. It's getting ready by scouting, trimming, planning, and training for opening day. Bowhunting can be done in urban as well as rural areas. It's a sport for the whole family, whether sharing a target in the backyard or hanging stands for opening day. Getting out there is the most important aspect of the game. Nothing on this planet can give you the adrenaline rush like true bowhunting can. Trying to draw on a wild animal, going undetected, and making it all count at that moment of truth. It's not about the record books, nor is it in front of a crowd. There's no cheering, no booing. It's all about you and our Maker's creations. It's about the memories of being there and sharing it with some very special friends and family. This year we have some incredible things we want to share with you. You know, we had not just the hunts, I mean, not just the taking of the animals, but how about the encounters?
We had some awesome encounters this year. One that I will never forget is elk hunting in New Mexico. I had so many elk encounters that just, and something, every single time something happened where it didn't, I wasn't joking, honest. The one, I mean, every single time something happened to it, you can understand it's hunting. We were out there in the woods, something would happen.
You be the judge.
I've gone elk hunting 4 or 5 times now, and I still have not yet taken an elk. One of the biggest challenges is actually getting set up, calling that bull in, and that's a challenge in itself. But once that bull comes close enough, and whether you can get drawn or not, which I goof up quite often, but the other thing too is if I actually do get drawn, then sometimes they see me, or the wind is going to switch on me, or my biggest problem, especially this past year when we were elk hunting out in New Mexico, is I would be full draw, and I've done it 2 or 3 times, and the bull comes in and stops behind a tree, and I have no shot. It happened a couple times, and I still haven't gotten an elk. There are some real challenging things out there when you're elk hunting. You have to remember the wind all the time. You need to be prepared. You have to think ahead all the time to figure out what's going to happen. When you see elk far away, if you hear elk calling way off in the distance, you say, okay, we're going to call them in, we're going to get on them, we're going to stalk on them. You go and you got to continually check the wind to make sure that it's not going to swirl on you. You got to watch your thermals and the whole 9 yards. I am not an expert by any means, but I am learning every year out there. It can be so frustrating. And it's not just when you're hunting elk, it's when you're hunting any kind of animal. We're doing a lot of other things also, but hunting elk out there in New Mexico, and anywhere that I've gone hunting elk, you get so frustrated when you think everything is going right, and I just can't get off the shot. Just like the one that stopped, and he stops behind a tree, and then he goes off and bugles at me. Or, you know, I had another bull come in, and he goes, every time he'd stop for a shot, he'd be behind a tree, and then he'd walk and I'd let down, and then he'd stop and he'd be behind a tree, and it is so frustrating that you can work so hard up until that point in time and think that everything's going to work for you, and it's just not your time. So you have to keep trying, and there's times out there that you really want to push it to the limit, and you think, you know, that bull, he's only 15 yards further than I like to shoot, but I always hold back because I know my boundaries and I know my limits, and it's pretty frustrating, but I guess I just have to deal with it.
Can you believe that? We just get done hunting all day long. Just get to up here to the top of the ridge where the truck is parked. Carlos sees a bull right down here in the field. We come running. We get set up here. Not the greatest setup, I guarantee you. Does some calling. Bull comes around, comes back and forth a couple times. Obviously saw something, not sure. I ranged those trees out there. Those trees out there are like 47, 48 yards. It's beyond my limit.
This past spring, we went back up to Alberta with Wolf Creek Outfitters and Bob Irvin, the bear man
himself.
And Ralph, I have to hand you over my title. You shot a bigger bear than I did.
Yeah, baby.
What
Yes.
happened?
What do you mean what happened? I stopped guiding you.
Did you fight
and
for it?
I took the horse by the reins.
You stopped guiding me.
Yes, ma'am. That's why you have shot. That's, folks, that is why she has taken all the big bears, because I guided her.
I don't have my boots on, and it's getting really deep in here.
Check this out. Bear hunting can be what you make it, and when I say that is, you can go up there like we said earlier, you know, just guide tells you here, sit here, here comes a bear, you shoot him, it's all over with, and you lose what it's all about. I mean, getting up there, getting where, especially where Bob Irvin's set up is northwest of high level. I mean, we literally have baits near the BC and the Territories border. We had a bait last year that a grizzly was coming to. I mean, think of that. What's so unique is we were driving down the road one day, we actually saw some caribou. I mean, you are talking about being in the hub of wildlife. You have wolves, moose, some deer, bears up Yang Yang, you know, I mean, just all kinds of critters, numerous different wildlife, bird life galore. I mean, that's what bear hunting's all about. You get into it, start reading the different tracks, the spoor, everything around that bait, and you start going to each different bait site and you start reading it, and it starts to become a science, and it's so awesome. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to get the whole experience out of your bear hunt. Just don't go up there, shoot a bear, and think that's all there is about bear hunting. There's so much more to it. The thrill of bear hunting with a bow for our whole team, Vicki and I and everybody, is it's getting that close to that animal that has the power, the strength, the agility, and the speed. I mean, to tear you apart. Most time it ain't gonna happen, but that's the thrill of this, and the fun, and to watch each different bear come into a bait site. They all have their own characteristics and somewhat of a personality. But let's not kid ourselves, folks. Deer and bear don't sing and dance in the woods. That's cartoons. They are wild animals, and they have to be treated as such. That's the thrill of bear hunting. We had a great season chasing after all kinds of critters, but the bottom line here is the most sought after big game animal on this planet.
The white-tailed deer. And we traveled everywhere. I mean, we were in Colorado, Kansas, Wisconsin, Texas,
Illinois. Yep.
I mean, we traveled everywhere. We hunted with Greg Pickett in Kansas. We hunted with Ray Klish up in Wisconsin. It was cold up there.
Going down Jess Moats in Colorado.
Texas down at the Covenant
Ranch with Dr. Jim Leiniger and Joe Lee. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But getting back to Colorado, the clubhorn buck, we watched this buck the year before, and this year he came in, presented the shot, and, well, I took him. Last year we were hunting with Billy and Jess down in Colorado, and lo and behold, we saw this deer that we gave the nickname the club buck. I mean, beautiful deer. You could tell he's a mature buck, but he had his rack configuration was a little screwed up, and never presented a real clear shot, so I never took him. But would I have? You betcha. Well, lo and behold, a year later, about 1.5 miles or so down the river, here he comes. Unbelievable. He's bigger, he's older, he's heavier than he was last year. I'm looking at him, and there was no doubt in my mind, if I get a shot, I'm going to take it. Here he comes, he's coming down. He actually came and smelled our trail that we walked in on. He smelled the ribbon that we marked on the tamaracks. It was incredible. It was an awesome experience. Look at this deer. Huh? Is that character? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We hope you enjoyed this preview of what's to come on the Archer's Choice. As you could see, once again, we're having a blast. And the bottom line is we want to thank the sponsors as well as you, the viewers, for allowing us to do this one more time. So don't go away. Get ready, because the Archer's Choice is back and stronger than ever with more exciting footage, real hunting under real conditions. We're hunting, not turkeys,
No,
not deer,
no,
not even moose.
no, we're hunting bears.
Yeah, that's right. We're back with Bob Irvin of Wolf Creek Outfitters in High Level, Alberta, probably the bear capital of the world.
And one of the best bear camps, if not the best bear camp we have ever been to.
You talk about action, we got it. Okay. We thank God every day we are able to do what we do and travel with the good people that live for the same things we do. Hunting has introduced us to many a great people, and one of those who stand out from the crowd has to be Bob Irvin, owner of Wolf Creek Outfitters in Alberta, Canada. You know, we've hunted with Bob and his guides for some time now, and never has our team been disappointed. Hunting with Wolf Creek, you never know where you're going to end up. With miles upon miles of area to hunt, you might be near the British Columbia border today and near the Northwest Territories border tomorrow. You could be floating down the Cianciarulo River or four-wheeling with the ATVs back to where you see more bear tracks than any other sign. It's an awesome experience to travel down some of these two tracks and spot some big bear tracks that measure, well, let's just say, we have seen the biggest bears we have ever seen hunting up here with Bob and Wolf Creek Outfitters. So many times we go on hunts and remember only the actual hunt, not what led up to it or what followed. The people we meet and the things we saw. What makes a hunt a success is not just taking of the animal, but rather the whole experience. And we can tell you this, if you're looking for a great experience, a hunt of a lifetime, and a place you will want to return to as much as possible, we found it. This past hunt, we had the team bow hunters up there with us, and one in particular, Chad Crail, who had a bit of a rough time last year.
Last year, if you remember, Chad missed a bear, and we just wouldn't let up on him. I mean, we made him just... The poor guy, I think he got a complex.
I guarantee he did. Not only did everyone see it on the show, they saw it on the videos and everything. This poor guy, I think he still might be hiding in the closet. We don't know. But it's time for Chad to get out and show everybody that he can do it. And boy, does he do it.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice. This week, we're hunting up in Alberta with Wolf Creek Outfitters and Bob Irvin. And once again, Chad was up there with us also.
Oh, man, you talk about, as like we said before, and we are picking on Chad a little bit. You know, he shot and missed that year before, but this year there was no shadow of a doubt. That bear, when he came in, the mass of this animal was incredible.
And when that bear came in the first time, he came in, took a piece, and walked off. I thought Chad was going to fall a tree stand and die. He wanted that bear so bad, and it just wouldn't present him a shot.
Well, you know, when you see it and you realize how big that bear really was, and is now in his living room, I mean, the thing is, Chad, all we can say is thank goodness that bear fever didn't set in again with you. You know, throughout our travels, we're asked, one of the most asked questions is, how do we select an outfitter or a guide? And it's real simple. First of all, you do your own homework. You get references, and if he doesn't have a reference list, maybe he's just starting out. If that, then you're taking a chance. But also, if he is established and he doesn't have references, you got to start putting up a flag. The other thing is get references from successful as well as non-successful hunters. Talk to everybody. Yeah, they may be costing you a little bit on phone calls and email and whatever, but the bottom line here is the more effort you put into a hunt, the more you get out. Baiting black bear, or for that matter, baiting any animal, any wild animal. It's a controversial issue, but the bottom line here is if it's legal in the books, then it's a legal process to do. We enjoy bear baiting. One of the things we like is we concentrate the animal activity to come into our area, allowing us to be more particular and precise in judging the bear, the sex of the bear, finding out if it's a sow and cubs or whatever. Baiting is an effective way of hunting bears. It strengthens the bear herd in your area. You remember, for every bear that you take on the bait, there's probably 3 to 5 that you never even see, but you're feeding. And let's talk about all the other wildlife that comes into that baited site. From pine martens to skunks, to squirrels, to all the different bird life and everything else. Is baiting something to do? Absolutely. Welcome back to the Archer's Choice. You know, once again, we're back up with Wolf Creek Outfitters, Bob Irvin in High Level, Alberta. And Vicki, you had a smoking spring.
I really did. But you know what was different this year, and I don't know why? I just didn't have my no-brainer, my big Bruins come in. I shot 2 awesome bears last spring, but I think my luck might have rubbed off on Chad.
Or maybe me.
For some people, it's turkey hunting. Others, it's deer. Others, it's elk. For me, it's bear hunting. If I start talking about bear hunting, I just get too excited about it. There's something about it, it makes my blood boil. There's something about bear hunting that just gets my adrenaline rushing and flowing.
One of the things that are happening this year in camp is that spring seems to be coming a little earlier. The berries are out. A lot of the baits were getting hit really hard. Now all of a sudden, they seem to be hitting like every other day or so, maybe every 2 days. And what's happening, by what we can tell from their scatter around on the ground here, is the bears are finding the berries. The berries are out. They're finding them. They enjoy berries. They know it only comes certain times a year. So what we're hoping is that this is one of those on days where the bears can actually come into the bait. And we'll keep our fingers crossed. The other thing are dandelions. The dandelions are starting to come out, and they enjoy those also. So.
When I first saw this bear coming in, I was watching him, and as I'm watching him get closer and closer, my blood pressure was raising higher and higher, and my heart was starting to shake and pound, and my body was shaking, and my adrenaline was flowing, and it got to the point where I needed to calm myself down. And then I started watching him as he's coming in, and I was trying to size him up, and those are some pretty hard critters to size up, and I was watching him, and I thought, you know, he's a pretty good bear.
Buddy. Come on, up there. Beautiful bear. Beautiful blaze on his chest here. He's got some scars on his face. He's been fighting with someone. Nice boy. Really good bear. I'm tickled.
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice TV show. And Ralph, tell me it's not true. You didn't really shoot a bigger bear than me, did you?
It's true.
It
Yes,
can't,
it's absolutely,
no.
without a shadow of a doubt, I did it. I finally did it.
But I've had like
It
5
doesn't
years
matter,
on
Vic.
you.
It's over. Your reign. It's through. You might as well. You know what? Next time, why don't you just carry my stuff out to the tree stand for me?
Yeah, talk to the hand.
Check this out. Bear hunting can be what you make it, and when I say that is, you can go up there like we said earlier, you know, just guide tells you here, sit here, here comes a bear, you shoot him, it's all over with, and you lose what it's all about. I mean, getting up there, getting your, especially what Bob Irvin's set up is northwest of High Level. I mean, we literally have baits near the BC and the Territories border. We had a bait last year that a grizzly was coming to. I mean, think of that. What's so unique is we were driving down the road one day, we actually saw some caribou. I mean, you are talking about being in the hub of wildlife. You have wolves, moose, some deer, bears up yang-yang, you know what I mean, just all kinds of critters, numerous different wildlife, bird life galore. I mean, that's what bear hunting's all about. You get into it, start reading the different tracks, the spoor, everything around that bait, and you start going to each different bait site, you start reading it, and it starts to become a science, and it's so awesome. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to get the whole experience out of your bear hunt. Just don't go up there, shoot a bear, and think that's all there is about bear hunting. There's so much more to it. The thrill of bear hunting with a bow for our whole team, Vicki and I and everybody, is it's getting that close to that animal that has the power, the strength, the agility, and the speed. I mean, to tear you apart. Most time it ain't going to happen, but that's the thrill of this, and the fun, and to watch each different bear come into a bait site. They all have their own characteristics and somewhat of a personality. But let's not kid ourselves, folks. Deer and bear don't sing and dance in the woods. That's cartoons. They are wild animals, and they have to be treated as such. That's the thrill of bear hunting.
Oh my gosh. You know, every once in a while, I have to let him win. I don't want him to quit hunting.
Listen to the crowds, huh?
Oh, jeez.
It is cool, isn't it? It's great because, folks, most times she wins, I lose. So I have to take the glory when I can. But more than anything, we want to thank you for sharing this time with us. And remember that it's not just a hunt. We have so much fun, and it's a competition that we just create to have the fun. The bottom line here is going on a hunt. You don't have to be successful as far as killing the animal, but having the memories and the excitement and sharing it with friends and family, that's what it's all about. And we've had so much action this past spring with Bob Irvin up at Wolf Creek Outfitters that, well...
You got to come back next week.
Same time.
Same station.
Because we have double the bear action right here on the Archer's Choice. We're heading back north with the bear man himself, Bob Irvin of Wolf Creek Outfitters. And last week, folks, if you missed the show,
Oh my gosh, he's been so hard to live with just because he shot a bigger bear than I did. But what he doesn't understand is things can always change.
I'll in a minute. Yeah, okay. Hey, it was great. I finally beat the Vickster. But listen, this week could be a different story. Who knows? But we got a ton of bear action coming your way on the Archer's Choice. Bear hunting, if you've never done it, most go with the guide, take you to your stand, wish you luck, and say, see you later. There's so much more to it than that. Yes, if that's all you're looking for, then that's great. But we love the whole adventure. The long 4x4 journeys to get back to those remote spots that hold those big blooms. The thrill of going down a 2-track in the middle of God's country and cutting a track in the mud that just takes your breath away. He's a big one, and everyone who saw the track knows it. So we start our game plan, keep baiting the spot, try to see what trail he's using, maybe even set up a timer. We try and figure what he's thinking, but we know we're in his domain. He knows every trail, scent, tree, and bush. He may have never been baited before, or he has years of experience dodging us, stealing our bait and never letting us have the opportunity to see this giant. That's what this is all about. Maybe he'll show himself, maybe not.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice. This next hunt is a good buddy of ours, Randy Brander.
Randy's been around a long time, and he's been to all the different camps, even when we had our own bear camps. And lo and behold, he's taken a lot of black bears.
He's taken a lot of good black bears, but the problem is he never, for some reason, those color phases, they just don't seem to appear for him.
And you know, any time you get a color phase in a bait, I mean, you try to get on that bait to try to make something happen, and every time it's happened, it's never worked out for Randy.
No, it hasn't.
We'll see what happens, because his hunt is coming up next. Wind. How do you control it? Let's face it, there is no way. Using a scent lock suit's going to help you. The other thing you have to realize is a bear does move. His movements are a lot by the wind. The thing is once he's established a bait site that he's comfortable with, a lot of times you can still spray down with your scent away sprays, get all that done, wear your scent lock suits. And if the wind does swirl, you might see that bear lift up, he'll look around, and if he's comfortable at that bait site, he'll stay there. If not, he'll run off. Most of the time, he'll circle, get on the downwind side, check. If he really gets a strong human odor, most of the time he won't come in. But if he does catch a little bit and it's broken up so much, and that's what the advantages are of spraying yourself down and using like the scent lock suits, is he comes, he doesn't get it, you'll see him slowly start to come in. But he also might be a little bit more cautious. So you got to be prepared for that situation.
Been hunting all week, waiting for a color phase. And the reason we picked this stand site is because we found some chocolate hair at the site. So we figured we'd sit and see what happened, and it paid off. A beautiful, beautiful chocolate bear.
Ralph has taken some pretty decent bears, but for the past 5 or 6 years, I've held title on big bears in this house. I don't know what it is. Those big no-brainers come in. Ralph can sit a stand and see one little bear come in. I'll sit that stand the very next day, and the big no-brainer comes in for me. I don't know what it is. I don't want it to stop. Just let them keep coming. I feel the best time to go bear hunting is the last 2 weeks of May and the first week of June. The reason is because if you go too early, if there's a late winter, some of the bears won't be out of the den yet, and if they are out of the den, sometimes they won't be hitting that bait site right away. They're not ready to eat that other food besides, you know, the normal little grasses. Then, if you're looking at going too late, then you run into sometimes the bears will start rubbing and their hair will be coming rubbing off of their bodies, and the other thing is the boars will start wandering and roaming to where they won't be coming to the bait sites. That's why I feel the last 2 weeks of May and the first week of June is when you'd want to go on a bear hunt.
Select an outfitter. It could be a difficult thing to do, but most of the time if you do your homework prior to even talking to them, you got it made. Create a little question list. Ask them certain questions. Number one, don't ask them how many bears they've taken. Ask them how many opportunities, how many sightings from the tree stand. Because a lot of times a hunter can screw up more than what the outfitter can. Bear coming in, hunter screws up, boom, makes a wrong movement, bear's gone. That's still a blown opportunity, but that's an opportunity that should count. The other thing you want to remember is the more homework and more research you put into a hunt, the more you're going to get out. Talk, like we've always said, talk to reference that have been successful as well as non-successful hunters. Talk to all of them. Try to evaluate and try to make your own game plan. Ask them certain things. If you're looking for a color phase, ask them what the percentages of the sightings of color phase bears are. How many have they harvested in the color phase? Things like that. The more you do before your hunt in research and check everything out, the more success you'll have.
Is this a quarter in the wing? I see this. You see that?
That's a big bear.
Yeah, this is a good bear. Congratulations, man. Hey, baby. Like your head. Yeah, baby.
Well, that's it for this week. You know, we shared with you 2 spectacular weeks up with Bob Irvin of Wolf Creek Outfitters. And we did it. Listen to the crowd. Yes, guys, we did it. We beat them. We beat the girls.
I guess we have to give them the title of the biggest bears.
No, 2.
I said the biggest bears.
Okay. 2.
I'll let you have it this year.
Yes, well, you know, what's so cool about this is that I won and you lost. And, you know, I have no
But
remorse,
remember,
folks, and I just...
Remember, I'll get even.
That's what I'm afraid of. Hey, Bob, we want to thank you and all the guides and Sheila for all that great cooking. And more so, we want to thank you, the viewers, for sharing some time with us. And remember, we'll be here next week, same time,
Same station.
here on The Archer's Choice. This week was a little bit different. As we said earlier, you know, we went on a ranch hunt for the wild boar down at the Cumberland Mountain Hunting Lodge. And it was a great experience. You know, we were fortunate enough to share it with, well, we finally got Heath out of the editing room, you know, and out from behind the camera, and he was pretty pumped.
He was so excited. My gosh, you know, finally we got him on the other side of that camera, like you said, and the optical predator was...
I mean, he's
down.
a bow hunter, you know, in his soul. And,
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, sometimes he doesn't get as much opportunity as we do, but it's cool to share it with him. And then
there was Mike, a good buddy of ours, Mike Zook.
Mike Zook from Northern Illinois.
He hunts with us back here at home all the time, and one of the favorite things that he's been wanting to do is he's been wanting to go on a wild boar hunt with his bow.
Yep.
So we took him down there with us, and he kind of scared us a little bit. His heart, man, he was racing. He was so excited.
That's what this is all about. You know, like I said earlier, now Mike's got a lot of experience with his bow hunting and his...
And gun hunting also,
he busted a heck of a giant buck with his
With
night
the muzzle.
muzzle loader. That was a great deer. But the big thing here is that adrenaline rush. Yeah, you're hunting a ranch. You're hunting a setup, but the thing is we were all excited. We were pumped up. And you can't hide that.
No, and there was a lot of, I think, just the happiness and the excitement of all of us just being down there. And I mean, you're still hunting an animal that, you know, it was definitely
unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
You're on the ground, toe to nose. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to happen, and that's the thrill of hog hunting.
The type of wild boar hunting in this area of the state is Russian to pure Russian to Russian crosses. Not really what I would consider a feral hog. They have more of the Russian characteristics. They were first brought into this area up in the Smoky Mountain region back in the early 1900s on an area called Hooper's Bog, which is now inside the Smoky Mountain National Park. The man brought them in as kind of a high society hunting preserve for the rich and the elite of the country. And they eventually got out, wandered around the state, and bred in with the farmers' hogs that they left loose through the winter to feed on their own. And you get today what we have is just about a pure Russian as you'll see in any part of the country is right here in the mountains, right in this area right here.
We're back, and now it's time. We got to get the Heathmeister out of that little closet.
The optical predator.
You know, he's always in there with the computer stuff. And
I think we need to get him out of there a little bit more often.
Yeah. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. Let's check out Heath's hunt.
We hunted all morning trying to stalk these animals, and now we're doing it the traditional way, the Tennessee traditional way, and they say this won't take too long. We're gonna see. We'll watch these dogs work.
Being in Tennessee, chasing after these boars was so exciting for me. You know, probably one of the best highlights of the trip was actually watching these hounds, these boar dogs, chase after these pigs. They were able to go into the darkest crevices, the deepest valleys, to chase after these boars. And to hear them bark and the bay, I tell you, that just gave me a boost of adrenaline that you cannot explain. It was just unreal to watch these dogs work. And that was definitely probably the highlight of this trip. Good shot. Ooh, that's exciting. That's unbelievable, man.
Good job.
That's hard to believe. Whew. That is adrenaline rush, bud. Unbelievable.
Good charge.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? Look at all the excitement.
I'm telling you what, that's unreal. That's great. I tell you,
Wow.
we have been after these pigs all day long.
You're not kidding.
And, you know, I don't care what anybody says, hunt with these dogs. People think it's easy. I'm telling you, we've been running up and down these Tennessee hillsides. This is unbelievable.
It is so humid out here, Heath. And I was over on the other side here, and we heard the dogs going. You came running in here, and I just came up and I just saw the dog, and my gosh, it was coming at you almost.
I'm
He
telling you
didn't
what.
care for that much, did he?
I know. I tell you, I just can't express in words what this is like. You know, so many people talk about coming pig hunting. People, if you're looking for an exciting time and you want to knock some of the dust off your bow, get ready for elk season, whitetail season, I don't care what it is. Grab your bow, come out here to Tennessee, hunt with Cumberland Mountain. This is a hunt of a lifetime. I'm gonna go check my pig out. Gosh, this is great. Shockwave did its job. Complete pass-through, guys.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Ultra Tech Hoyt, man, that is a hunt, guys. High five.
High five.
Good deal. All right.
Good dog.
When Ralph and Vicki invited me to go on this hog hunt, I didn't know what to expect. Traveling to Tennessee, they told me we were going to be hunting at the Cumberland Mountain Hunting Lodge. And to me, I didn't know what to expect, what our sleeping quarters were, what I should be doing, what should be bringing, what should I eat. And we got down there and I saw this beautiful lodge. I said, you got to be kidding me. We're going to live in here for a weekend. And
All right. Yeah,
it was
okay,
not what I
good luck.
expected. I pretty much expected living in tents in a sleeping bag, but being in that lodge was amazing. And the food was undescribable. Judy did a super job of keeping our bellies full during our hog hunt, and it was just amazing to me.
Well, Zookie, huh? I heard you shoot, did you?
I think I got one,
Did you?
buddy.
All right. Where'd you hit him?
Right up here.
Up here. Is this from him? Where'd you hit him?
Right behind the shoulder.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's Bud, right here. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Look at the hole. You pinned him. Check. Look at this. Look at this. Here it goes. Here he. My. You pinned this boy. Look. Look at the blood sign right there. You shooting a Spitfire? 100 grain? Look at this blood trail. Oh, hey bud.
All right.
There you
All
go.
right.
Congratulations. What a hog. Look at the size of this thing. Look at his teeth. Your first Russian boar, bud. How's it feel?
Great. Nothing like deer hunting, is it?
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice. As you know, this week we're hog hunting down in Tennessee, and you know what? We're having some fun.
We're having a blast. Both Mike and Heath had an awesome hunt.
They did, and it was cool to see him and share that experience with them. And now it's your turn, Vic.
Yeah, now it's my turn to go out in them woods and climb all over the place and chase them hogs around.
Well, better you than me.
Your turn will come.
Yeah, I know.
There's something really exciting, and it makes your heart pounding and your adrenaline rush in your body when you're actually on the ground hunting an animal. And when you're hunting wild boar, there's something about it knowing that they have tusks, and knowing that foliage is so thick that they can come out of anywhere, and you need to be prepared for that. As you're out there, you're looking and you're trying to spot and stalk on them, you have to remember also that they could be doing the same thing to you. Okay. So close to this boar, he was hiding underneath the bank, and he stayed there and wouldn't come out. I mean, he really thought I couldn't see him. When he finally came out of the bank, I was so close to him. It was pretty nerve-wracking. I was shaking pretty bad, and I got the opportunity. I got my bow drawn back, but I actually had a hard time doing it. He was less than probably 5 feet from me, and I mean that was enough to make me start shaking pretty bad. It's history now. Wow. Oh, you stalked that hog with 10 yards and a good day. Let's get this bad boy back to camp. We sure did. Well, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. This is cool.
I'm gonna let you hunt.
What do you mean you're gonna let me hunt?
We're changing the format here.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
No. Well, folks, I'm hunting. I'll let her hunt every once in a while. But the bottom line here is, it is my turn, and I can't wait, because I had a lot of fun. You know, sharing it with everybody, with Heath, with Mike, and you. Well, you know. But the bottom line is, we had a blast. And I just can't wait to, well, get out there and do it again.
Well, let's check out how you did.
Okay. Once again, we're down here at Cumberland Mountain Hunt Lodge. For the past few days, it's been hot. I mean, very hot and sweaty. We've had a little bit of a difficult time with the rain and everything. The dogs can't get any good scent. We did locate some hogs, and they're in a wallow down along this little coulee that goes all the way down. They're down below there. What we're doing is we're doing like an old traditional whitetail deer drive. We're having the guys actually just slowly come up on them and try to push them out, not run them out. And you know, who knows how they're going to react. Sometimes they could just bolt and come through here super fast, or just maybe things can happen and you're going to have maybe one of those little, one of the boars maybe lollygagging behind the herd. So it's hot, folks. I mean, it's really hot, but you talk about a great preseason warm-up, no pun intended. We're here, and it's a waiting game now. Here they come, here they come, here they come. Oh, they're going high, they're going high. No. Like I said, Murphy's Law. Here comes something. Did you see that? You talk about a perfect. Oh, man. My heart's going out of my chest. He came right through here. It wasn't but a 10-yard shot. He came right across, right through. I'm holding right on that crease. That hog didn't even go 30 yards. Yeah, baby. Am I excited? You betcha. Look at this boar. Look at those teeth. Whew. Perfect condition, broadhead's fine, arrow, perfect. Listen, whether you're trying to cure cabin fever or you just need a change of pace from whitetail deer hunting, Cumberland Mountain Hunting Lodge, this hog hunting, it's cool. Well, that's it. It's all over. Our hog hunt down in Tennessee is over, and we want to thank you for sharing some time with us.
We also want to thank the Cumberland Mountain Hunting Lodge for having us down there and giving us such great hospitality.
Yeah, that southern hospitality can't be beaten. If you're looking for a hog hunt, it's a place to go.
And remember, next week, same time,
same station, we'll be here with more of the Archer's Choice.
This week we have the Team Bowhunters, a couple buddies of ours, are up north and they're hunting the almighty caribou.
That's right, Jeff Fry, you remember him from last year, that elk coming through when he accidentally, well, he hit the branch?
He hit a branch.
And then Chad Crayle, you remember him? Last year, bear comes in, he missed that one. We got the two guys that kept missing last year. Well, we sent them due north, and hopefully, just hopefully, they ain't gonna have that caribou fever. Hunting caribou is almost like, it's a chess game. And when I say that, is one always trying to keep the wind in your favor. Once you locate a herd or you locate some type of animals, you can pretty much be rest assured that on the pattern they're going, that's where they're heading. To try to stay on the back side and get closer, it'll never happen. It looks like they're not covering a lot of ground. Let me tell you, they are. You have to try and just angle up back to try to keep the wind in your favor and keep going at the points and try to intercept them. Try to read the contours of the land. Maybe you can see there's like a big rock cliff or something, and you know that mostly they ain't going to go up it. They're going to skirt around it. That's pinning you, giving you some type of bottleneck situation in a natural funnel. Folks, I'm telling you, these animals cover a lot of ground. They're constantly, one of the very few animals that's constantly on the move, whether they're migrating or whether they're going to and fro. You cannot keep up with caribou. Yeah, give a little more.
I'm going to give you a little more. Okay. Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice. As we said earlier, this week we have the Team Bowhunters, and they're up north hunting caribou.
And like we said, it's Jeff Fry, and we have to repeat this. He's the guy that, well, had a branch antler bull in front of a bull elk, and, well, he hit the branch. And Chad Crayle had a really good bear in front of him, and he hit the ground.
But he redeemed himself.
He did. Jeff, we're still worried about.
Yeah.
But the bottom line here is wait till you see some more of this caribou action.
This is my first caribou trip ever. So we went out there, of course, in your own mindset. You think you can run them down, you think you can get up with them, you think you can cut them off. Well, you can't. We tried that, it failed. The best thing we come to find out was find a spot, figure out where they're coming across the lake, sit and wait. Pick a place where you can ambush them, where they're going to come through a notch. Not much different than whitetail hunting, because we had some high hills, and they were coming through the little notches and coming up. We just got set up on the side and just waited on them to pick a little point that they were going to come up and just set them out and blast and try to pick out one that we hoped would come our way. And once they got in the water, we picked the one that we wanted and just waited on them to come through the notch and then took them from there. And that seemed to work the best for everybody in camp across the board. Once everybody got out of their system, did what they thought was their best way. They calmed down, listened to the guide, did what he said, and everybody connected.
God, they all come out right where we wanted them to. Less than 20 yards, put it right there. They bailed off into the lake. We were about 20 yards swimming in the lake. Done. Game over. Herd split. Half went that way. Half went back across. We're gonna go pick up, find our arrow, just see what everything's like. Go get our bows and let Jeff get busy.
Couldn't believe it. We got in position. The bulls came out of the water, straight up to us. I put the shot right where I wanted to. Caribou exploded, went everywhere. We sprinted after him. My bull, caribou were going. He hits the water, starts swimming across. We got bulls swimming everywhere. I didn't know which one was mine. You know, we're just lost in all the excitement. You're afraid to jump in the water because it's black. You don't know how deep it is. And next thing you know, mine flipped over on the side, and the other caribou hit the other bank, and the excitement and then the celebrations began at that point.
This is our first bull at Denami today. Obviously we got the recovery after he got splashed down in the water. Water is home. This is outstanding. Can't wait till tomorrow to make it round 2.
Being with the caribou was the most phenomenal experience I ever had. Of course, you're on the ground. You're right there with them. You've got a little tiny tree between you and them. At one point, I had caribou both sides of me within mere feet. And at one point, I'm filming. I've got another guy standing there, a bow hunter standing up in front of me. And the caribou are coming to my right. They're coming to my left. They're crossing behind me. I thought I had moved, and here I'd had one actually hook the back of my coat with an antler as I was walking by. It was a small cow, but nonetheless, it was curious. Odds are it's never seen a human before, and odds are where we were standing, of course you're going to get that feeling when you're there, that no human has ever stood here before. Because there's a very good chance that no human ever has. I mean, we just kind of flew into this little remote lake, they put us down, and when we crested the hill, we were literally getting ready. And caribou started coming, and the first groups that came through, you know, I put the Velcro on my gloves. Boom, the whole herd was gone. They're not a stupid animal. They would get downwind, check us, and once they caught us, they were gone. We just had to play the wind right. We had some excellent guides who knew this, and you know, of course, you think they're kind of a dumb animal, so to speak, because they just keep rolling in there. But at the same time, and they weren't, and we just happened to get lucky.
The challenge of caribou hunting, first of all, is one getting there. It's a major challenge. Once you get there, you have to remember the majority of your shots will be at a moving animal. These animals never stop. They're constantly on the move. You also might end up shooting further distances than what you're used to, you know, in your whitetail woods. Practice whatever your personal capabilities are is what you want to practice. Just try to stretch it, try to learn, try to get better at 30, 40, maybe even 50 yards. If you're not comfortable in it, you don't shoot it. It's as simple as that. But remember, hunting caribou, you may be faced with situations that you're not used to. You're spotting, you're stalking, you're going to be wet. You got to always try to keep the wind in your favor. You're going to be shooting at a target that's moving. It's a tough situation, but once you try it and get into it, it's very rewarding.
Peter Palmer, Wayne Ed,
An excellent, outstanding job.
Caribou hunting to me in meat packages, the best whitetail hunting day of your life times 50. I live and die for my whitetail hunting, but to see all these antlers, I mean, and I'm an antler freak, all these antlers continually all around you, just, I could just stand there and watch it for hours. Just see, oh, it was incredible. You have to try the caribou hunting because you have to be around all the animals and all the antlers. We've got the caribou coming at us. We glass them on the far hill, trying to get ready. We've got 3 actual trails in front of us. We're trying to anticipate which one he's coming on. My heart was racing. I mean, I decided this is the bull I wanted. He had great tops, he had back points, he had double shovels, and he was an awesome animal. We were scrambling around. We didn't know to hit this trail, because they were coming to a point, they were splitting. So we had to hurry up and run up into place, try to keep from spooking all the caribou. I don't know how to... I've got this massive amount of antler coming at me, more than I've ever seen in my life, coming in my direction. And all I could think of was, which trail are we going to take? Am I going to have a 30-yard shot, or am I going to have a 5-yard shot? Because at one point I could have. And he come down, I got busted by a cow. We were trying to shift into position. We saw they were going to go to our left, and I tried to get turned because I actually thought everything was going to swing to the right. He came down. Actually, I lost my breath there for a little bit. I couldn't even, I was shaking. I had to get hooked up. Once he come around, and then he stopped.
You saw it. We watched this bull come from the far ridge. I had everybody get ready, and within 5 minutes, by the time we see them, they're down here. This is probably the, I don't even know how many bulls. Between Jeff, I, and Chris, we just let pile by us. This one's got everything that I was looking for. He's got good palms, great tops, good back points, everything. He's an older, mature bull, heavy rack.
Can you believe those caribou? Man, that was an unbelievable hunt. Thanks, guys.
Hey, and we want to thank all of you for joining us this week. And remember to stay tuned next week, same time.
Same station, right here on the Archer's Choice.
We're going to head down to New Mexico with Team Bowhunters, Jess Motes and Mike Hastings.
These guys, we met up with an outfitter named Adrian down at Non-Typical Outfitters. You talk about an incredible place. These guys, with bows, took 2 bulls for 2 hunters. That's incredible.
That's insane.
On camera.
I wish we had that kind of luck.
I'm telling you, it seems like every time we go elk hunting, one of us normally, be it me, always has the luck. And Vic, you just don't seem to have it.
No, but Jess and Mike did.
So let's check this out. Planning an elk hunt is pretty simple. It's almost like homework. You remember homework? The more you put into a hunt before you go, the more you're going to get out of it. And it's real simple. Turn around, call. You could call them. Today's, the internet is at your fingertips. It's incredible what the information that's out there. Call the state, find out the populations. On your first elk hunt, what I would highly recommend is go to a state that has a high population, high concentration of elk. So you might have more than one opportunity. As you progress in your elk hunting, then maybe start looking at trophy areas, areas that maybe don't have as many elk, but the bulls are bigger. Get into it, get the experience, get involved in the elk hunting, and you'll see what we're talking about. Tactics for bow hunting elk are pretty simple. There's a few. You can be fortunate enough to get on a tree stand near a water hole and have your elk come in. That's one way. But the majority of us, do a spot and stalk and calling. How many have ever turkey hunted? You're trying to locate that gobbler, sometimes in the roost. Same thing with elk. If you want to take that same theory and vocalization as you hunt turkey and put it towards elk, you're going to be successful. The biggest problem that I've ever seen, even when I had my own camps, is I had people, I shouldn't say just guys, real hunters come out to camp. They actually sounded bigger and badder and tougher than any bull I've ever heard in the wild. Now let me tell you something, folks. Bull elk don't walk through the woods being all mad and ticked off and looking for a fight during the rut. They don't do that. What they are looking for is they're looking for some action. They're looking for some cows, some girls to do what they got to do. And the thing is instead of sounding like a big bad bull, why don't you go in there and do some cow calls, real simple. Just cow calls and calf chirps. You learn the vocalization of elk, and you'll realize that bugling isn't necessarily the best sounds you could be making. One of the most critical things is now you've got the bull coming in, you're going to start maneuvering, trying to get a little bit closer to cut that distance so you get out of that perimeter, that hang up. Now you get in there, you want to set yourself up with some foliage in back of you. If you can put a little bit of foliage in front of you, the thing is remember, you have to have the mobility to slowly move and follow that elk if he's coming in. Because if he comes in head on, you don't have a shot. You have to wait till he turns quarter away or broadside to get that shot. So here we are, we're like this. Try to keep more foliage in back you. Make sure, hands, face, put that head net on, get those gloves on. Because the things are, the things that move the most, look at, is our hands and our face. I take my Nikon rangefinder, I put it up, my hands, my face. All right, I'm looking at my binoculars, my hands, my face. Here comes the bull, I'm like this. And the other thing is don't do this. Don't make eye-to-eye contact. As that bull's coming in, keep him squinted. Do that. And all of a sudden you're watching, your heart's coming out of your chest, and when all of a sudden he turns away or he walks on the other side of a pine or whatever it is, come to full draw. The thing you don't want to do is get caught up, and all of a sudden, here he comes in. I've seen it so many times. A guy comes to full draw, they sit there and hold it. Next thing you know, that bull comes in, he not giving him a shot. The guy, he has to come down. He comes down, arrow falls off the rest, clean. Story over. I've showed it before. We've showed it on a whole bunch of different shows. And that is when you come to full draw, just like this, and that bull's coming in, fingers or release, and all of a sudden he freezes. Bring your elbow down. Simple. Bring this elbow down here. If you can, rest your bottom limb on your knee, do it. But until that, and then all of a sudden that bull starts, he turns, your movement's right here. It's as simple as that. The other thing, folks, if you can't draw that bow straight out, it's too heavy. Decrease the poundage. Get ready for your elk hunt. Again, we stress, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out. Calling elk, if we took a bunch of people, everyone has a different technique. The bottom line, I think what's helped us and made us a little more successful in some of our hunts is never going in there sounding like the biggest, baddest bull. Take a reed call, and instead of going all the octaves and growling, I'd rather go in there and raise the curiosity. I want to sound like a little guy. When I do that, bull's like, Then I turn around and put in my... Now I can take my reed call and work my squeeze call and sound. The illusion is I'm a little bull with a couple girls. Here's this bull, this good branch antlered bull, looks up, goes, There's a little guy with some girls. I'm going to go kick his butt and take his women. It's as simple as that. Go in there, don't intimidate them, raise their curiosity. I'd rather you learn more about cow calling than bugling. You'll see your success increases.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice.
Jess, that was a great elk. But look at it this way. Next year, I think you could shoot a bigger one. Hey, let's join Mike because I know he's into some action.
Hunting with Adrian at Non-Typical Outfitters, we were surrounded by bulls just about every morning. We would get in and hear a couple bulls bugle, we'd get up on them, it'd be 3 or 4 bulls around us. You wouldn't know which bull would be coming in, you wouldn't know which one to get ready for. That's how good a hunting it was, you know. We had one encounter where we had 3 different bulls. We had 2 coming down in front of us and 1 to the side, and we had, I wasn't sure which one was going to come in first, and we had a bull just come straight down on us, and it was, it happened all so quick that I wasn't able to pull off a shot at it and everything, but it was, every morning it was like that.
What a bull! What a bull! All right, I got him.
Man, when this bull comes in, I was able to make a good shot on him, and I knew I hit the bull good, and he took off. I could hear him stumbling up through the mountains, you know. I knew he was going to go down. It was just an awesome feeling, man. You know, it's great to be out in the woods, be able to hunt, and I knew, you know, Adrian put forth his effort. It was awesome. I had this awesome feeling.
Look at him, boy, he's in the dirt. Man, I appreciate it, man. Congratulations. Man, we have had an awesome hunt, haven't we? Yeah. We have seen so many bulls. I don't know what the bull-cow ratio is here. It's
If you're looking for a great elk hunt, like Jess and Mike had, unbelievable, give Adrian a call at Non-Typical Outfitters or log on to his website. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. And folks, next week,
It's our turn.
it's our turn. Who knows what's going to happen? But listen, you'll see it next week, same time,
Same station.
right here on the Archer's Choice. We packed up the team and headed southwest.
We went down to New Mexico in the Gila National Forest.
Oh, the Gila. Folks, you got to remember, the Gila in New Mexico is all national public hunting.
And big, major bull elks. Major bull elks. We were down there hunting with Carlos DeLo and Rugged Mountain Outfitters.
Right.
Carlos and his brothers, they know the area. They were born and raised down there, and they know the terrain, where those big bulls stay. They're it.
This is it, so you don't want to miss this week's show on the Archer's Choice. Yes, New Mexico is where it's at, and we hunted with one who knows this incredible area better than most, Carlos De La Hoya of Rugged Mountain Outfitters. Carlos and his brothers know elk, and they definitely know the Gila. Elk hunting can bring out many different emotions, excitement, frustrations, total exhaustion, mental stress, as well as physical. All these and more can happen to you in one day of elk hunting. As a matter of fact, this is why we hunt. No matter the game, hunting is a roller coaster ride of pure emotion. So hold on, let's share on a ride down in the Gila for the monster bulls of New Mexico. Welcome back to the Archer's Choice. You know, we talk about the team. We got team bowhunter Randy Brander, and we got Heath back out from editing.
Yep, we took the optical predator out of
Yes.
the editing room.
Yep.
And he was elk hunting, his dream hunt.
You know,
He wanted to go elk hunting.
talk
and
about predator.
I was just going to say, the optical predator became the prey.
Yes. On this next hunt, you have to check this out. Randy and Heath are cow calling. They've got a bull going nuts.
You know what? Don't ruin it. Watch this.
ever walk into a room and you get this feeling that somebody's staring at you, and you turn around and there they are watching you?
Stalking us, look at that.
Well, Randy and I were in New Mexico hunting elk, and I was actually getting ready to shoot a bull, and I got this feeling that something was watching me. So I turned around, looked behind me, and sure enough, here comes this animal. All I could see was paws coming at me, and my first response was, oh look, a little bobcat. What I didn't realize, this was a 200-pound mountain lion that had put Randy and I on his dinner plate.
Can you believe that? Being stalked by a mountain lion.
Man, son of a gun.
That is unbelievable. You know, we had that bull work up around us, and for some reason, I look behind us, and all I see is paws.
Yeah.
That thing was stalking us. He put us on the dinner menu.
Yeah, he arrested that elk.
Oh man, there he goes right there. Can you see him?
Yeah, there he is.
You know how rare it is to see a mountain lion in the wild.
I know it's tough.
He was looking at me like I was a big pork chop. We took that here.
I was just his appetizer.
One of the biggest challenges I have while I'm bow hunting for elk is, one of them is actually getting close enough to have a shot in my comfort zone, but the other one is actually staying composed long enough to actually be able to draw my bow back and maybe take a shot on the animal. When those bulls come in, and if they're vocal and they're bugling, and sometimes they don't even bugle, sometimes they just let out these screams that make all the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It is hard to concentrate and to remember not to move and when to draw your bow when this big bull is mixing up your brain waves with these screams. The first morning out, we weren't in the woods 15 minutes and Carlos already had a response to his call. We kept going towards where the bull was bugling from, and it sounded like he started coming towards us also, to Carlos's calls. So we had gotten set up, Carlos and I sat next to each other, and Ralph was about 15, maybe 10, 15 yards behind us. As he's calling and we hear the one bull bugling, Carlos just had a feeling. He turned around, looked, and here comes a 5x5, very quietly, right behind Ralph, I mean maybe 10 yards behind him. The bull, Ralph got great footage, you could see him perfectly, but I had no shot unless I shot right past Ralph's head. And I didn't want to do that because I figured the wind whistling through it might have deflected the arrow.
Hey, welcome back to Archer's Choice. You know, Vic, once again, I have to thank her for not shooting at that bull, because you would have had to pass through me to get that bull.
Yeah, that wind from the arrow, I was a little worried about it.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Here in New Mexico, we have some really great elk hunting. We have, of course, the Gila, where we're at now. We also have plenty of areas in northern New Mexico. We have the Jemez Mountains, which now we've acquired a 100 square mile area called which was originally the Baca land grant, and we're greatly anticipating being given access to that area. We've got Mount Taylor. We've got areas, Unit 38, Unit 36 over by Rio Doso, which are excellent. We've got many, many areas in northern New Mexico, which are an extension of the Southern Rockies, and which includes the Valle Vidal, which is a once-in-a-lifetime hunt, very, very strictly controlled, but extremely high quality, as good as any elk hunting you'll find in the world. And of course we have the Gila here, which is a vast volcanic plateau, which is hundreds of square miles literally, which includes wilderness and also national forest. There are some areas that have bulls, really large bulls, right off the highway. You can hear the cars going by right on the highway, but it doesn't seem to bother the elk. So we have really some opportunities for anybody that wants to hunt, all the way from spike camps, walking in, packing in, or some areas that are fairly accessible as well. Vicki, this is that ridge I was talking to you about. We got those wolves coming down the canyons this way where they've been bedded during the day. And they'll be crossing through here. So let's check this area out and do some glassing. I think they'll be coming down that cut right there, passing over that ridge. So let's go on up here and see what kind of approach we might use for tonight.
Sounds good.
There's something about the adrenaline going through your body when that bull is so close to you, and he lets out a bugle, and you can smell him before you can even see him when he's coming in. But when he bugles and your hair stands up and it feels like the ground is just trembling underneath your feet, but then all of a sudden you realize that's just your body shaking.
Unbelievable. That's the biggest bull I've ever seen that close. Oh boy.
New Mexico is an absolutely beautiful state. You have desert and mountain areas. Early in the morning when you're out there before the sun comes up and you can hear the elk bugling, but you can't see them because the fog is lower down into the canyons. And as that fog starts rising, and maybe you can start seeing the elk underneath there, but it's such an awesome sight to see that rise up. And then during the middle of the day, maybe you're taking a break, maybe you're having lunchtime, you're sitting on the mountaintop and you're kind of glassing, eating your lunch, and these clouds. But we don't have clouds like this in Illinois. They're like big puffy marshmallow clouds down there. And then the sunsets in New Mexico, they're indescribable. Elk hunting is extremely intense. There is a giant creature out there with these massive horns coming at you, and you're supposed to stay composed and you're supposed to be able to just pull that bow back at the perfect time, and everything's supposed to work just the way it's supposed to. It doesn't. It is so intense that this bull elk had come in, I had the opportunity, I drew back when he was behind the tree, and he stopped. And everything in your head races, and you're thinking, what did I do? Please take one step. This is my year. I'm going to get him. Now you have all seen my encounters, and you have seen the trouble that I have. It is not a walk in the park. Elk hunting is not a piece of cake. I have tried, I have done everything physically and mentally possible, and it is just not easy. I was ready physically, I was ready mentally. This time, the elk didn't want to cooperate with me. That's all I can say. They stopped behind trees, I have no shot. They don't want to come close enough for me to shoot, I have no shot. I guess that's just the way it goes.
Was this an elk hunt or what a show? I mean, you had so many opportunities.
I think I probably got as close as you possibly can without coming home in the house. You want something else? You know, I mean, the other thing though was Randy and Heath. Thank goodness they didn't become a pork chop to that mountain lion.
I'm telling you, they were literally having a Big Mac attack, but they were the Big Mac, and we thank goodness that cat didn't chew them all up. Hey, folks, once again, we want to thank you for sharing some time with us. And remember, same time,
same station,
right here on the Archer's Choice. We packed up the team once again and headed due north.
Up to Atikokan, Ontario, way up there, with Fern Duquette, the Moose Man himself, and Cash Boy Outpost.
Now, folks, you talk about an unbelievable hunt. We've been doing this for a few years, and it just seems like it keeps getting better and better. And we're only talking about going just over the border in Atikokan, Ontario. We are bow hunting moose, once again, on a budget. Despite being driven from much of their original range, and we're not talking about hunting pressure, rather man's encroachment on the moose's territory. Today, however, the moose is thriving, and closer than you might think. Some of the best hunting is just north of our borders in the great country of Canada. For many, a moose can be seen in the province of Ontario, and surely one of our favorite spots and moose guys is Fern Duquette of Cashaboy Outpost, just out of Atikokan, Ontario. Not only can this be a very affordable moose hunt, but once you try hunting these giant critters, you'll be back and back and back. You get what we're trying to say? Bow hunting moose is addictive, and you never know. You might be spending so much time up there, you might be saying, hey, too.
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice. Let me tell you, if you ever get the opportunity to hunt with Fern,
Be prepared.
he's a nut.
The guy's crazy, but that's what makes this all fun. And you know, whether you're having a bad day of hunting, which I don't know if there's really such a thing, but this guy and all of his people can make you just change it around and have a blast no matter what the situation, no matter what the weather is. You're going to enjoy yourself.
I don't know if that's safe.
When we talk about moose hunting, there's a few things. A lot of times going up to Canada and you're trying to do it on a budget, you're going to do a drop camp. Don't think that you have to be, this professional, experienced caller. A cow moose call sounds something like. Something like that. Now you put a horn to that, and you'd be amazed at how that sound will carry. And all of a sudden, in the distance, you're going to hear. Sugar plus, and they're coming in. The other thing you want to remember is we're so attuned to looking at a regular deer. We know what a deer looks like at 20, 30, 40 yards. This moose that's coming in probably weighs about 700 or 800 pounds more, stands a lot higher, has a bigger rack, comes in, and you literally can be so shaken up that that animal, you say, oh man, he's only 25 yards out. That animal could be 40 yards out because you're so used to looking at a deer. So remember, you want to use your rangefinder. You want to remember that you don't have to be an expert or professional calling, because you can make it happen bow hunting moose on a budget. If you remember last year, we had an incredible hunt. Fern took a bull, I took a bull, and Vicki, well, she missed. How could you miss a bull moose at 30 yards? Let's not go there. The bottom line here is we had a great hunt, and what we have to realize is moose, during the rut, are very vocal animals. Not only are their cows calling and echoing across that water, the thing is you can hear those bulls coming from a long distance off. Folks, you're looking for an exciting hunt. If you're used to hunting turkeys, hunting elk, moose is a real easy transition except for one thing. They're only about 400 or 500 pounds bigger than an elk, and only about, 800 or 975 pounds or so bigger than a turkey. Oh, the wind's swirling. He's got us. He's gonna win us. To Shania, he's calling. He came over here. Hey, I got lucky. Look at this bull. Holy Toledo. Couldn't have done without you. Thanks a lot. Let's understand this thing. This high, this big a vital area at 30 yards, and you couldn't hit it?
What's your point?
My point is, Vic, you couldn't hit it. I mean, we're talking about, boom, we're talking about like a van in front of you, and you missed.
Things happen.
Well, was the sun in your eyes? Was it wind too strong? I mean, come on.
Listen, just because I had a missed opportunity at a moose, that was well said, gone, goodbye, see you later, hasta la vista, it's out of here. No more. I've dealt with it for a year. Leave me alone.
Okay. What about this year?
I didn't have an opportunity. In case you didn't know, last year I missed a bull moose at 30 yards with my bow and arrow. It is definitely tougher than you might think. Yes, I know the vitals are huge and everything else. Hey, it's done with, it's gone. Everyone had a lot of fun for the last year. One of the things that you need to remember when you are going bow hunting for a large animal, whether it be moose or elk, is you need to remember the size of the animal can confuse you on your yardage. Remember that. Those animals are so much bigger, they could be 10, 20 yards further than you really think they are because they're such a large creature. When I saw this bull coming in, I got so excited. Before I could even see him, I could hear him. You can hear him walking through the swamp. He's just he didn't do too many of the bull runs, but I heard him splashing all over the place. As he's coming in, my adrenaline started pumping. I knocked my release onto my string. I was ready to go. He came in and he stopped about 50 yards out in the middle of this little pond that was only probably up to his knees, but probably up to my chest. He stopped, decided he didn't want to come any closer, and left. As soon as that bull stopped and started walking away, in my heart, in my head, I kept thinking, please, you're just gonna turn, come back, give me another chance. But he didn't. He stopped, he looked around, and walked away. And that was the end of it. It was so heartbreaking that, you know how when you're a kid and you have a really big balloon and you're real happy and you're playing with it all day long and then someone comes around and pops it? That's what it feels like.
Most of us can relate to deer hunting, obviously because they're in our backyard. Many of us don't have moose in our backyard, so we have to travel. But once you do this, once you get a little bit into the moose hunting, like we talk about a lot of the hunting, but moose hunting, it's like getting branded. You get that Canadian moose brand put on you, and it's in your soul, and you can't wait to get up there again. To see those fall colors on in early fall, not like we have to wait here, and to see this incredible massive animal coming into your call, and knowing that just with one little stick and string, you might put this giant monarch of an animal down. Man, it is just the experience that stays with you forever. We want to share with you this hunt, but we have to understand that things do happen. We were paddling, we paddled in, got all set up, everything's working great. We go to unload the canoe, and we drop the camera in the water. And we didn't know what to do. I mean, we're not sitting there with a backup. Everything's like a knot. The hunt happens, you couldn't, picture perfect. That's why we're sharing you this footage. It's a little screwed up. I'm not lying. I mean, I'm not coming here and tell you, no, we screwed up because we dropped the camera in the water. But we have to share this footage. This bull is 40, 30, 20. He's 18 yards or less from me, and I take him. Oh, you talk about an unbelievable experience. But what are you going to do? We accidentally dropped the camera in the water, and we have to make the best of any situation. I heard him call from the distance, and we could hear that he's coming fast. Boom, all of a sudden he appears out of the spruce. He's at 40 yards broadside. I come to full draw, I'm ready to take the shot, and I read his body language. It's like, no, he sees the decoy, he wants to come closer. 30, 20. This bull, this massive animal, is standing less than 18 yards from me. I'm at full draw, and everything rushes through your mind at this moment. Your adrenaline rush, everything you practiced for, everything you prepared yourself for is right now. The shot was there, the adrenaline just escapes you. You watch this animal run off, and you start to realize that this is a massive animal. Folks, hear me out. The fun stops right when you release that arrow on a big moose like that. Because you realize right after the shot, the fun stops and the work begins. You gotta get that giant of a critter out. Murphy's Law. If it isn't one thing, it's another. It's just...
Animals are working right most of the time. Mother Nature was doing well.
My shooting was on.
Okay. But this time, what went wrong? The cameras. And you know what we learned on this trip? We learned that cameras don't like to swim.
No, you start mixing electronics and water, and it's a bad deal.
It is. And we want to thank Fern and all the guys up there and girls at Cache Boy Outpost for a great adventure and a lot of fun. And we also want to thank you for watching the Archer's Choice and taking time out of your busy schedule. So remember, come back here next week, same time,
same station,
right here
on the Archer's Choice. We had to due north.
Up to the cold, cold land of Wisconsin.
I mean, it was freezing cold. You're laughing because you weren't there. I froze. She stayed home in the warm heat. Yeah, go on. And we had a great hunt with Ray Klisch.
In the second half of the show, we're going to talk about does
are deer too. And you know what we're talking about, because some of those old mature does are tougher to take than some of those bucks.
You better believe it.
So you don't want to touch that remote control, because we got some incredible action coming your way.
Well, it definitely looks like there's more activity on that side of the plains.
There's a guy who lives for the northern woods. He's been a trapper, farmer, and he shot a bull for as long as he can remember. His walls are filled with awesome northern whitetails and memorabilia that spans more years, well, than he wants to talk about. Ray Klisch owns and operates a small little outfitting business that is second to none. He knows his deer and the land they call home, for it's been his home for his whole life, and his wildlife are his friends. He raised his family to know and appreciate what all this land has to offer, and it's no surprise that our team found out about Ray Klisch and his outfit, whitetails.com.
So we're in the middle of the Shawarma National Forest with Ray Klisch. And folks, you gotta log on to www.whitetimes.com. That'll give you all types of information about Ray. And, you know, he's really interested in more quality than quantity of hunters. He's not looking for a whole bunch of hunters, but he's looking for top quality people that are looking for a top quality hunt. And I'm telling you, it's here. We're in the middle of not only standing groves of pine, but tamarack swamps, agriculture, and what the great north is known for, the snow. So don't go away, we'll be right back with more of the Archer's Choice.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice.
Like we said, this week's show, we headed due north with Ray Klisch
and White Tines Guide Service.
And we had some unbelievable bow hunting action. In the cold weather, folks, you got to remember, number one, ruts over the whole 9 yards. They're going for one thing, food source. Let all those does, if you're not waiting for a doe, you're going to try for a buck, let the does come through, and those bucks will follow a late season food source. That's the key.
welcome back to the Archer's Choice. And Ralph, let me congratulate you. That was an awesome late season hunt.
Yeah, Vic, it really was. You know, us guys had to tough it out. The girls quit early, but, well, you know, I'll be honest with you. We froze our butts off.
Well, it looked like, though, Ray has like some awesome deer
He
up
does.
there.
Whether it's early, you know, mid-season or late season, that's a place you want to go to for sure.
And you know what else we like to do every year?
That's it. You know it. We all know what it takes, the grassroots, because those are deer too. And folks, you don't want to change that remote control because we have some incredible, real whitetail doe action with bow and arrow coming your way.
It doesn't matter to me whether I'm hunting black bear, monster bucks, trying to hunt elk, or even going out and trying to harvest a doe. As long as I'm out in the woods hunting, that's all that matters.
There's a couple of does coming.
I was sitting in a tree stand, and I see some movement over to my right, and I look, and here's this big, mature doe. She's right on my trail that crosses in front of me at 20 yards. My heart starts racing, my adrenaline's pumping, and I'm trying to control my breathing. As she starts walking down the trail, she turns and comes straight at me. And I thought my adrenaline was pumping a lot before. You should have seen it after she turned. I don't care if it's a buck or a doe. As soon as I realize and I decide that I'm going to take this animal, my heart starts racing, my adrenaline starts pumping, and I have to start calming my nerves. And here I have a mature doe at 20 yards, and I am just about ready to explode. When this doe came in, she came straight underneath my tree. When I released my arrow, it went through her so quickly that I honestly thought I missed. I turned and looked at the cameraman and said, "Did I miss?" She ran about 20 yards and dropped.
She's down. Look at that. My God, was fast. Oh my gosh. I shot her at 10 yards with a shotgun mechanical broadhead. My bow is like 55 pounds, went right through her, and she's right there. She's got to less than 40 yards from me. Oh man, this is awesome. There's my arrow. Right through her. She's running right over here. Look at what a beautiful, mature doe. Oh, awesome. This is what it's all about. Wow, not even 40 yards to my stand. Really whitetails.
We're back, and I got to give credit where credit is due. Vic, you got lucky.
What was I thinking about luck? Oh my God!
But guess what? It's my turn now.
Yeah,
it really
okay.
is.
Yeah.
You know, I headed back to Wisconsin. We set up in that corridor between the feeding and bedding area, and well, I did it. When we talk about controlling your deer herd, one of the best ways we keep stating is shooting the does. The more does you shoot, the more you increase that you're in that zone. The more deer, the more animals that you harvest with your bow, the more it becomes a routine, a draw. You're in that zone. And it's important to stress that because a lot of times we push off the younger shooters to say, oh no, you got to pass them up for this. Well, if they go for 3 years and never shoot anything, guess what? We lose them. They quit because it's too boring. If they have a mature doe right in front of them, let them take the shot, as well as you should too. I caught movement coming up the ridge. I looked and seeing if it was a deer or squirrel. It's a deer, it's a doe, but it didn't matter. I was deer hunting. Once my mindset is, you know, I'm gonna try to take this deer or this animal, man, my adrenaline kicks in, my heart starts coming out of my chest, my knees knocking, that sweat starts coming, and you are in the zone. You're ready to rock. Because you see the shows, you see us doing the seminars, the videos, whatever, you can read the articles. Folks, please understand that none of us are machines. Whether it's a buck, a doe, whatever it is, you should get that adrenaline rush. Your heart should be coming, pounding out of your chest. Your knees should be knocking. Because if you don't get that feeling, do yourself a favor. Climb out of that stand and go play tennis or go golfing. Because you are missing what that adrenaline rush and real bow hunting is all about. We hope you enjoyed this week's show because we brought everyone back, even ourselves, to the grassroots, to what got us all started. You know, the adrenaline rush of a doe, whether it was from day one when we first started doing this to still now, that adrenaline rush, because we realized that does are deer too. And more importantly, we want to thank you and Ray Klisch for putting us on some incredible deer.
It was great. And remember, come back next week, same time, same station,
right here on the Archer's Choice. We're going to Texas, and we found a place that has Macho.
You're going to scare everyone away. Don't do that. We went down to the Covenant Ranch. We're the home of the Macho Bucks and the Macho Blind.
And the Macho Feed.
Yeah.
This place is incredible. And you talk about management, I can't say enough. It's probably the best place we've ever seen for actual deer management and understanding the habitat and everything. So you do not want to miss this week's show, because we did head down to the Covenant Ranch in South Texas, and we experienced some of the best macho deer hunting that we've ever seen.
Well, this area, we're actually about an hour from the radar and about 2.5 hours from San Antonio, but this is what's called Webb County, which is the heart of the big deer in Texas. And the deer here are just, they're big-bodied animals. They're on the length, they're anywhere from 200 to 240 pounds. There's just some big animals out here. And the cactus or whatever gives them the nutrition they need to get that big, and the antlers get big. We have some really large animals on this range. There's some 188 plus on this range that have grown through natural and normal genetics on this particular range.
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice. And as we said, this week we're down in South Texas on the Covenant Ranch.
Yep, and we had the opportunity to sit down with the guys and talk to them and learn why the Covenant Ranch is so successful.
I think buck management is really herd management. You can't manage just the bucks without managing the does and the fawns as well. Buck management is what we do here. We do it intensively, we do it every day. It's not something we decide to do when it's hunting season. You have to get bucks that are healthy-bodied and have big horns. That's nutrition. You have to get bucks that are older. If you shoot a young buck that scores 150 or 160, that buck would have scored 180 or 200 if you just give him another 2 or 3 years. So the age of the buck is absolutely intensively controlled and required. And lastly, the genetics. And thankfully we have great genetics in South Texas. Here in Webb County, we have more green crockett bucks taken historically than any other county in the state of Texas. Hey, look at this, right here. Here he is. Yeah, baby. Look at his blood. Look at his blood. Oh, what a deer. Look at this buck. Folks, that is a management deer here on the Covenant Ranch. Holy Toledo. Good old mature buck. Oh man, what a deer. He probably went, I don't know, as the crow flies out with you maybe 40 yards or so, maybe 50. What a beautiful, mature Texas deer. Look at the big guy. Wow.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice. Ralph, I can't believe that's a management buck.
Nor did I, Vicki. When General said, Ralph, that's a great management deer, I was like, yeah, baby. I mean, that deer's a trophy in my book anywhere.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I was so pumped up, so excited. And folks, don't touch that remote control, because we got some unbelievable macho buck action coming your way from the Covenant Ranch.
How is Texas deer hunting different? Well, the first thing is, when I took up bow hunting, I went around the entire ranch here, almost 9,000 acres, looking for a tree to put my stand in, and I couldn't find one. It is tough down here. So we didn't have any tree stands, so we went with chair stands, and it's almost impossible to get a chair stand and sit in it and be able to videotape the deer and then put your camera down and pick up your bow. I mean, I just was not successful over 2 years of trying it. So that's when we decided we had to figure out a different way to try to fool these deer, especially the big deer, and get them to come into the corn or the feed and be able to hopefully get a trophy. And I just mentioned the other thing that's different about hunting in Texas is that we're allowed here in Texas to bait or feed or attract the deer by putting like corn or sometimes with macho feed, which is what we do on the Covenant Ranch. Now, what's different about that is that it does allow you to track the deer that makes deer hunting in Texas very successful. I think it's probably more successful than any other state. But on the other hand, we bait deer here in Texas with the corn and the feed that we bought from the people up in the Midwest, and those people grow it in their food plots and they attract the deer in with the same kind of baiting. They just don't call it baiting, they call it a food plot. I wish we had fertile enough land and enough rain down here that we could have food plots and we could successfully bait the deer in that way, but we have to buy the grain from them and then put it on the ground.
As you well know, we do a lot of hunting out of our double bull blinds. And in ground hunting, just adds a whole new dimension. You go to a high-pressured situation and you start hunting on the ground, you'd be amazed at how much game you really see. Going down on the Covenant Ranch, they have this incredible blind that they have designed and put into effect, and it's called the Macho blind. It's a pit blind, but it's a concealed unit that drops in the ground, and the trick behind this Macho blind is when these animals come in, they can see over the blind. Think about that. It takes that caution, that wariness away because they see over it, it's not a threat to them. Those Macho blinds, they give you some macho opportunities. Did you see the size of that buck? How should we be doing? We're coming in. Oh, I'm so excited. We had it all over. We had these little hogs come in. We had a real good deer come in. We had a broken idol on a bunch of little bucks, and then all of a sudden, and Zook of all Zooks. Hey, right after the shot, like everybody, you know, that adrenaline rush is the ultimate highest of high. And kids, hear me out, please. No drug, no alcohol, nothing on this planet can give you the adrenaline rush like true hunting can. And that experience alone is worth everything that you'll ever experience in your whole entire life. It doesn't get any better than this. We're back with what? I mean, come on. Guys.
That's an awesome deer.
Awesome deer. Oh, listen, that's macho bucks for the macho guys. Face it, Vic, you're in trouble because it's guys 2, girls 0.
Are you gloating?
Yeah, man, come on, wouldn't you?
Are you happy?
I'm very happy. This
won't be real soon. Watch this. Macho look. What I like about deer hunting is once you get up in your tree stand or in your ground blind, you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're just not going to see a darn deer all day long. You don't know if you're going to have a whole mess of does come by you and they pass by you and you feel relieved, or maybe you feel that you achieved something because they didn't spook, they didn't see you, they didn't smell you. And then there's also the putting your binoculars up and looking out in the field, or maybe he's coming underneath your stand, you know, the big giant guy comes through. That's what I like about deer hunting. Here I am, and I have this giant macho buck in front of me. I can't believe it. My heart's racing. My adrenaline is pumping so bad that I'm actually almost starting to hyperventilate. And I can't believe how lucky I am to have this giant buck out in front of me. Come on, Brad, where's his track again? He's running pretty hard still. Oh my gosh. Look at this. He didn't go 40 yards from where I shot him. Oh my gosh. Oh, like I said, my arrow went in far back, but now look at this. If this isn't the prettiest buck. Look at him. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Both eye guards are busted. Oh man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He's got 15 points. Oh my goodness. Look at him. We're down on the Covenant Ranch. Ugh. He is beautiful. Just beautiful.
Ralph, you're not gloating anymore. Oh, what happened? Did I shoot a bigger buck? Gosh, I think maybe if you add your two together, it might make what mine did. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look, there's 3 up there for Vicki. What do you think, huh? You go, girl, huh?
Remember when I told you guys, leave them at home? Listen, all kidding aside, we had a great hunt. Vicki, congratulations.
Thank you.
But we want to thank the Leinegers
and the Lees and the Ciscos
for allowing us to share and be welcome to a place like the Covenant Ranch with the Macho bucks, and I mean incredible hospitality. Probably some of the best whitetail deer hunting we've ever seen in our lives.
Definitely.
We want to thank you once again for sharing some time with us, and remember, same time,
same station,
right here
on the Archer's Choice. This week, we're going back to southeastern Colorado with Billy Doan and D&D Outfitting.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're hunting those wonderful river bottom whitetails.
You know, it's so unique. That river bottoms area is just, I mean, it's a natural funnel area. It drives those big deer through there, and, well, when we're there and they come through, things happen. So you don't want to miss this week's show on the Archer's Choice. Billy Dowling has a large working ranch that cattle and hay keep him going all the time. For relaxation, he looks to one thing, his deer. Those are Billy's deer. He protects them, makes sure they stay healthy, and he watches over his miles of river bottom like a lion guarding his meal. He knows the bedding areas, the travel routes, and the feeding sources for any given time of the year. Every season, we're lucky enough to draw our deer tags. You can count on us traveling out there to share some time with Billy and his family and try our luck at the big old mature Colorado river bottom whitetails.
Hi, welcome back to the Archer's Choice. Now, Ralph, we were down in Colorado with Billy Doan and D&D Outfitting last year.
Yep.
And saw some unbelievable deer and some great, encounters, and then you shot that buck.
I took that buck. It was a little broken off. Not a little, a lot, you know what I mean? But I didn't see the other side, but I was proud of him. He's on the wall and everything else.
Trophy.
But Billy Dowling at D&D Outfitters, they have some major bottomland big buck action. For years, we've all seen it on television, big bucks running these river bottoms. And folks, let me tell you, it is pretty incredible. And why are we focusing on river bottoms? I'll tell you why. They create natural funnels. You've got mostly agricultural fields coming up to these little patches of thick tamaracks or whatever you have there, big cottonwoods, and it makes those more mature bucks travel in these very narrow passageways. That's why we're concentrating on river bottom bucks. Calling those whitetail deer on river bottoms is pretty amazing, especially when your buck-to-doe ratio is so close to being 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, however it may be. The thing is you can go in there and you can actually intimidate the animals by grabbing this big giant set of sheds and hitting them together and sounding like 350-pound Saskatchewan bucks fighting over that one hot girl. You go in there, use your rattle bag. HS makes a great little rattle bag. You just, it's like tickling the tines. It raises the curiosity. They can't tell how big these two deer are, but they say, there's a hot woman there. So next thing you know, they come and investigate. The other thing is your grunt calls. We use the True Talker grunt call because what's nice with that is you can vary all the different tones with just your fingers. So now I'm not grabbing a different call. I have one call that does it all. All this will help you and coax in that buck of a lifetime for a shot.
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice.
You know, now we got to go with fellow team bowhunter Mike Hastings of Tennessee, and he did it right. He checked the wind, he knew where the bedding area is, he knew where those bucks were traveling through, and he was in the right place at the right time.
Colorado, they live in what's called tamarack. The tamarack is unbelievably thick. It's amazing how a deer can even get through there, especially with a deer that has such caliber antlers as you see out there. You be sitting in the cottonwood trees, you don't have to get very high, 15, 20 feet, and all of a sudden out comes a 150, 160, 170 class buck out of nowhere. The terrain you look at is all flat except for maybe 100, 150 yards of the tamarack runs to the river bottom, and the deer just appear out of nowhere. Saw this deer this morning. He was about 70 yards. He was with the doe, and she was going the other way and come around and went back into the tamarack. Now, you know, I did not know I was going to get a shot at this deer, and my adrenaline got to going. I knew he was still in the area, And the only thing I could hope was the doe would come, down the trail up by me, and I'd get a shot at him. About 15, 20 minutes later, I see a couple of does come running out of the tamarack, and I'm looking to my right, about 40 yards, and I hear something in front of me. I look right down in front of me, and boom, there he is. There's the doe, no more than 15, 20 yards from me, and there he is right behind her, just looking right at her. She come up, fed right under me, so my adrenaline right now is kicking. It's going good, because I know that I'm fixing to get a shot at this buck. So excited, I was able to pull off a great shot. My adrenaline was flowing so highly watching this deer. I was watching it here for over 10 minutes. And, he stood there and looked straight at me. He didn't offer me any shot at all for 5 or 6 minutes. And when he turned and I was able to make a good shot, it was just an awesome feeling. It was great. It was a great hunt.
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice.
Like we said, once again, we're back with Billy Dowan of D&D Outfitters in southeastern Colorado. And we are hunting southeastern Colorado river bottom bucks. Last year we had a great encounter. We were about 1.5 miles downriver from where we were this past season. And it was the first time that we saw the club buck. He'd come in, the wind was in our favor, we were hunting a real narrow patch of timber. He came in, he actually presented me numerous different shots. He turned around, he walked around us, and he walked away. And how many of you have been in that position where you second guess yourself? You got that little, the devil here and the angel here going, shoot, no, and you're sitting there, and then a year later, or you're sitting after season going, oh, I should have took that shot. We've all been there. Here I am this year, sitting in the stand about 1.5 miles up the river from where we were last year. And I catch movement, I look at what the binoculars, oh, good deal. Turns and it's the club buck. 1.5 miles down the river, here's the club buck. And I've talked to Billy numerous times, he said he's never seen this deer ever before. Now, I'm asking myself, what do I do? If he comes in, what am I going to do? Am I going to take him this year or what? As I'm watching him and I'm glassing him, and I'm starting to realize, boy, did he grow. He's got a bunch more kicker points. He's wider, he's taller, and he's coming down our trail. As I'm watching the club buck come in, I can watch him, he's coming around, and all of a sudden I realize he is right on our trail. He's coming, he stops and smells the ribbon. My heart's going, I mean, everything, you think, oh, it's over, game's over, he's winding us, it's gone. I mean, the wind's still in our favor, but how about the human scent that we left in the trail going there? He's walking down that trail. He comes and he hesitates at the ribbon, and I'm like, oh, he's got us. And I don't know what happened. He comes from the ribbon, he starts to walk, he comes through the tamarack finger there, and he comes, and he's just walking closer and closer. Lo and behold, I'm in full draw, and he stops. What made him stop, I don't know, but I thank God that he did.
Look at this thing. Huh? Is that character? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
The club has been clubbed.
I'm going to club
Come
him.
on, come on.
Only he could have a buck come back the next year.
Strategy. I passed him up that he'd be bigger this year.
Yeah, right. My boots are not on my feet, so forget about it.
Hey, whatever.
Let's just thank Billy Bowen and D&D Outfitting.
Absolutely. We want to thank you again for sharing some time with us.
And remember, come back next week at the same time.
Same station.
Right here on the Archer's Choice. This week we're going to go to Kansas for the big whitetails.
Big deer, Kansas whitetail bucks. Unbelievable. Folks, we're hunting with Greg and Bill Pickett of Elk River Valley Outfitters, and you don't want to miss this week's show. As many of you know, this past year was warm. No, it wasn't warm. It was hot. Very hot. And it kept many of the deer from moving like normal. The winds kept us guessing and allowed the deer to beat us up almost all the time. But that's okay. That's why they call it hunting. And that's why we love it. Greg knows his area and the movement of his deer. We've hunted with Greg a few times with great results. And even though the warm weather, those south winds, and not much movement, Greg knew where we should go, and one thing we've always said, never guide your guide. Greg Pickett and his father Bill own Elk River Valley Outfitters just out of Longton, Kansas. They hunt all private land, and whether you're looking for deer, turkey, waterfowl, this is one of your favorite spots to go, and the hospitality is second to none.
Welcome back to the Archer's Choice.
As we told you, we're back in Kansas. Last year, everyone knows, it was a rough year. High temperatures, unbelievable, unpredictable winds. But Kansas is still one of the places that can make all your whitetail dreams come true. Calling during the pre-rut is probably one of the most successful times to do your calling. You have to remember that their testosterone is growing. It's tight. They're not looking for a fight. However, they are looking for action. That action is a hot doe. That time of year, they're searching, they're looking hard because they sense a little bit in the air, but they're not sure, so they keep moving and trying to check it out. Remember, you're going to deal with a lot of different winds. At that time of year, you might be having the hot weather like we were in. So remember, set up those stands with the wind in your favor and calling pre-rut, way to go. In a particular terrain like Kansas is the rolling hills and sometimes larger tracts of timber, but not always that much, is you're looking for areas that come up, steep ravines that come up, and they create these little shelves. These little shelves could be anywhere from 20 to 40, 50 yards long in length. You'd be amazed that when you start looking through that, how many different trails are coming through there. Why? These deer don't want to come up those steep ravines, but they'll walk along that saddle. Now, this is putting you in the right place at the right time. My scent, if I have to set up, my scent is blowing down in that steep ravine, but as they come on that saddle, they ain't winding me. Remember, early season, you're going to deal with a lot of different winds. Most of the time, the prevailing wind is predictable. Early season pre-rut, that may not be the case. So you have to set up numerous stand sites to keep that wind always in your favor. Just got done rattling and I'm looking around and here he comes. I could see him coming from down low and he's coming up high. First of all, I'm set up so hopefully that where we are on the point that our wind doesn't get divided on these two ravines and it doesn't swirl back towards him. So we're set a little further back on this point. That's why keeping our scent going that way. We know these deer are coming up. He's actually coming to the rattling. I can't get too aggressive. The weather and everything won't allow me to get real aggressive. But it's one of the big hang-ups that we all have, and that is those bucks hanging up on a calling sequence. They come in, they don't see anything, sometimes it just ain't gonna work. Welcome back.
The amount of deer that we saw in Kansas.
You know what's unique with Kansas? Kansas has many rolling hills. They come around in these little draws, and these draws are timbered, and it filters those deer, as we always talked about, through small, narrow passageways. And deer, whew, Kansas got them.
Ralph, what we got here is a funnel going to the wheat field. This is approximately 100 yards off the wheat field here. It's where the creek makes a bend, and another creek runs in. All game follow waterways and draws. This is where they cross the creek to get to the wheat field. Get 100, 200 yards off the field, you're not going to kill them bucks on a regular basis out in the field. You've got to get back off of it. They're going to be out in the field at dark. So you got to get back off of it a ways. To kill the buck on a normal basis, you're going to have a tight area. So back off with the wind in your face, and let the deer come by you going to the field.
Patience in calling is something we can't stress enough. You get in your stand, everything's calmed down, and all of a sudden you use your true talker call, you use your rattle bag, maybe you're using real antlers. And the thing is, you expect immediate results. It doesn't happen like that all the time. The thing, after you do your calling sequence, calm down, sit and be real cautious. It could take 10, 15 minutes, and all of a sudden you turn around, oh, there he is, he's coming in, he's looking. These mature deer, they know something's up. Their curiosity sometimes can kill them, but a lot of times they're on the guard. And if you think you're gonna get instant results, it ain't gonna happen. This particular morning, we did get a north wind. Unbelievable. It ended up coming out of the north. So we had Greg had a north setup. We got in there and we're watching. We're overlooking a bunch of agriculture fields with small little hedgerows going through and some decent areas of standing timber. I had hit the horns, been doing some rattling, using my rattle bag, a couple little grunts, and I caught movement in the far left coming through on the west side, on the southwest side of this timber. He was scent checking that, but he's also coming through, and he looks up, he's looking around. I couldn't make much movement, so I even grabbed my grunt call and I turned it and back, keeping all that movement not towards the animal, but away, going, gave him enough to intrigue him. He starts to come in and he beds down. Now he's bedded down directly west of us.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice.
Can you believe it? This buck's coming in, and he beds down 32 yards. I know, I use my Nikon rangefinder. I probably hit him
2 hours.
2 whole hours. Is that incredible or what? Once I realized that we're going to be here for a while, I ended up noticing that the wind started to shift. We knew south wind were going to come in. So from the north to the south, we're going to get an east wind at some time. I started feeling that wind, using my wind checkers, doing it. So we had to make a move. I lowered my rattling horns down on the back side of the tree. I gently put them to the ground, lifted the rope. Now remember, all this isn't back to me. That deer can't see any of this. Lifted up and dropped it. What he hears is he hears something on the ground, and he hears the tines tickling. Raises his curiosity right away, boom, out of his bed. He comes down, this will show how smart they are. He comes down to get a visual. He can't scent check it, so he wants to look. He is looking right up. Now he goes down the hill to look exactly where that sound comes from. He sees nothing. All we do is a little bit of tickling. Boom! He commits to coming in. Here he is, he's right here. A Kansas whitetail. Oh, hot dog. Look at the spread on that deer. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. We personally want to thank Bill and Greg Pickett
of Elk River Valley Outfitters
for their hospitality and putting us on some deer, even though we had some severe, hot, and very unpredictable weather.
And we also want to thank you for watching The Archer's Choice. So remember, come back here next week at the same time.
Same station, right here on The Archer's Choice. We're back with Billy Down at D&D Outfitters in southeastern Colorado.
Right, and now this week, we're going to be hunting mule deer, and it's going to be all Vicki, all mule deer, all the time.
What?
Okay, so it's not all Vicki. It's Team Bowhunters, Chuck and Bubba. They're going to be down there hunting muleys, but I shoot my first muley.
Whatever. You don't want to miss this week's show. We can't stress enough When you don't have the time to scout your own, is going with qualified outfitters, and Billy Dellin is definitely one of those. He travels that land every day, whether he's ranching, whether he's farming, or whether he's just looking for his favorite thing, and that's his deer. Knowing the land, knowing the patterns, knowing the bedding compared to the feeding, knowing the travel routes is the ticket, no matter what you're hunting on this planet. You learn food, cover, and water, you're gonna be more successful.
Hey, welcome back to the Archer's Choice. Now we're going to join Team Bowhunters, Bubba Cross and Chuck Lang, down there hunting muleys with D&D Outfit.
And I'm telling you, Bubba, you got the stalking down path. But judging distance, it might be a little bit off. Mule deer are very hardy animals. They have to endure rough, long winters in some very open, vast terrain. Their strengths are they have been able to live where the white-tailed deer can't seem to survive. They might not be as aggressive as a white-tailed buck during a rut, but don't ever underestimate these deer. They have been known to fight to the death. Their average body is a bit larger than most whitetails, and their racks are average basic 4x4 Western count. If you've ever seen one of these magnificent monster muleys, you'll have it burned in your memories forever. Hunting muleys can be done in so many different ways, from spot and stalk to actual stand hunting over trails that these deer use between their bedding and feeding areas. This can be a very productive tactic as long as you do your homework and know the patterns of the deer in the area you're hunting. And crawling through the sage and up and over the hills can sometimes put you in the right spot at the right time. Then all you have to do is make the shot, and sometimes that's easier said than done.
Mule deer hunting is glass and stalk, which is very much fun. We glass the animals on the terrain, and we try to get the wind right and make a stalk. On my mule deer hunt, I was glassing, and I seen a mule deer bedded down, so I quietly stalked as close as I could. I got the wind perfect. Everything was perfect. I stalked up onto the animal, and then I grunted. He stood up, and I unsuccessfully judged the yardage. My gut feeling was the buck was at 45 yards. I second-guessed myself and told myself he was 55 yards. I slowly drew, put the pin exactly where I thought it should be, released the arrow, and thankfully it was a good clean miss instead of a bad hit. But I slowly watched through my sights the arrow zip right over his back, and the nice buck bound away.
Bubba did an excellent job. He watched the wind, he kept cover in between, and once he ran out of cover, it's that do or die situation, it's that moment of truth that we're all faced with. What do you do? Either you make it or you break it. Welcome back to the Archer's Choice. Let's follow Team Bowhunter Chuck Lang as he
takes a great mule deer. It's kind of different though, it's a little unique looking.
It really is. He's got his stalking as well, Bubba, as his judging distance down path. Fellow Team Bowhunter Chuck Lang from Tennessee. You know, he's perfected the art of spotting and stalking. He knows that patience is a virtue, and understanding the wind at all times and the cover is going to make him, as well as you, more successful. Once again, welcome back to the Archer's Choice, and guess what, guys? It's
all Vicki, all the time. All mule deer.
whatever. Hey, listen, what's really unique, and Billy Dowen has it patterned where you can hunt muleys just like you would whitetails from a tree stand, which is unique in itself. But you also, if you want to do your spot and stalk, you have the capability of doing that right out in the sage. That's what makes it so cool down at Billy Dowen's.
Billy, look at this trail. This is what I like most about hunting Colorado with Billy Dowen is not only can you hunt big whitetails in the river bottoms, you can also hunt monster muleys out in the prairies. That's one of my favorite things about Colorado. Billy out on his ranch, he does a lot of working on it and does, a lot of the farming on there. So he really has an opportunity to watch and to really learn what the deer are doing. Billy had watched these mule deer every day. They go from their feeding area early in the morning and they walk up over this one ridge and they go down into the dry creek bed and they walk to their bedding area. He saw it over and over and over every single day. So what our strategy was we decided we were going to set up a couple summit tree stands right on some big cottonwoods right over this dry creek bed. It's just sand, just solid sand, but it was loaded with deer tracks.
You copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
I got my mule deer. You want down the river down there?
Cool.
You want to come and get us?
Sure, I'll be right over.
Okay, we'll be waiting.
Well, Billy, here's a new deer hunter, huh? You had him with you this morning. Grass and Tennesse. This is RJ. This is my sweetie pie. You're my baby. Huh. Thank you. We're going to go check Mommy's new mule. Yeah, Mommy's first mule. That's what we're going to do. What do you say?
I say let's go do it.
Let's go do it. Let's go do it. You should grab your pack. We'll put you in my pack, okay? Alrighty. Look at this mule deer. Not bad for my first muley, huh? Wow, well, he's a 5x5. I kind of thought maybe he was a whitetail at first when I first saw him coming down, but obviously not. He's absolutely beautiful. Oh,
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Well, because you were RJ too while we were out.
You bet. He's a perfect child.
First deer hunt, and Mommy's got a great new mule deer. Never had one before. This is awesome. He's beautiful. They have some pretty big bodies, huh?
They do. They have some pretty good sized bodies.
Wow. They just... He's got a pretty big thick neck on him right now too, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're starting to rut a little bit.
Well, that's what I was kind of going to ask you. When they came over that ridge, they were chasing one down.
Right.
So she must have just been about ready to start going or something, which I thought was kind of weird because I thought whitetails were going right now, but...
Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's show on the Archer's Choice.
Don't you want to congratulate me on my first mule deer? My first mule deer?
Yes, honey, that was
It was bigger than ones you've shot, haven't it?
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, but you know what? Didn't you miss one last year?
Vicki, come on now, let's just...
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, we want to thank Billy and D&D Outfitting
Yes, absolutely. Billy, look what I got to live with for the next year or two. And we also want to thank Jess Moats from Rutten Bucks, because he's the guy that brought all that together for us the past few years.
Right, and we also want to thank you for watching The Archer's Choice.
Folks, we really do. And most of all, we want to thank you, the viewers, as well as the sponsors, for without your participation and theirs, Archer's Choice, Ralph, Vicki, Heath, and the Team Bowhunters, none of this would be possible. So until next year, thank you so much. God bless you and your family. Let's stay strong and all fight for the right to bow hunt.